Hello, hello. Welcome to today's messages. Let's tune in. Beautiful. Just like you. Let's tune in to the messages of today and see what's going to come up for us. I hope you are well. Oh, I just saw a blossom petal from the blackberry bush fall. Fruit is ripening. What comes after the blossoms? The fruit. Okay. Let's shuffly waffle these cards and see what Spirit has for us today. No water. Damn it. Oh, I have my... I was playing around with watercolors. What is this? Seriously, Spirit? Can you give us ones we haven't seen before? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, at least we got context. So we got growing older, okay, and it was 222, a 38. And then a love never ends and kindness followed. Okay, so this kindness to self, getting some reflecting, paralleling between these two figures here. So a kindness to self. You think maybe you're too old for love. I don't know, right? Growing older doesn't necessarily mean, like when you, and every time you have a birthday, every day, you're growing older. So what does growing older mean to you? Okay, and how does that affect how you are with yourself or others when it comes to love? Okay, love never ends. Your love. Therefore, you are eternal. There you go. There's the message. Bye! Okay. Love never ends is a number 14. Kindness is a number 9. And growing older is a 38. If numbers mean something to you, this is the thing. To be open to love requires you to release all limiting beliefs around it. You can be open to love. Love has many faces. Love has many faces. So by closing yourself off, well, I can't have that kind of love because I'm too old. I'm done. I've been there. I've done that. I've finished my systems and everything's all up and down and left and right. Love spans beyond the physical. And so don't limit yourself to the physical. It's like, I had a client, older man, and he was in his 80s. And he was telling me about how 40 years ago, he got, what is it? The cancer in the testicles, testicular cancer. Anyways, in order to save him, they had to release something else, right? And so, but this man is married. And, he heavily focused on, the fact that he can't perform. And so he's done. But there's so many layers and levels and depths that a relationship can thrive upon in love, the physical aspect of it. And I mean, it's just one small aspect of the physicality, right? There's embracing, there's holding, there's honoring your mate in other ways. There's ways to keep love alive that does not require a functioning part. Okay, we've got many parts. Openness, beautiful. Openness. The energy of openness helps you take an open and honest look at yourself. Quite often, we have all kinds of saboteurs working against us at a subconscious level, thus preventing us from feeling what really occupies us. This energy helps us to recognize this and to experience ourselves at a deeper level. So, a lot of older women going through all their changes and factories shutting down and hormones shifting and processes processing, and it can be unpredictable and frustrating, right? But we are more than this aspect. A lot of those people will deny themselves from relationships to avoid having to make the boundaries around the areas that they are feeling uncomfortable with. Usually it requires communication, conversation, recognition. There are ways that people can work through all the things when it comes to love, right? Love never ends. And so finding ways of keeping the love fire stoked, I want to say, in yourself and in your external relationships with others. Okay. So Spirit wants you to be open, and growing older is something that is happening every breath we take, right? And so shift your perspective. I remember my stepdad used to always think or speak in terms of going uphill or going downhill. And he had a preconceived belief system in this regard, right? So it was like, you're either going uphill or you're going down. You're counting up and then you're counting down, right? And this is so limiting. In the same way that belief systems affect our reality. Like when a doctor tells a patient that they've got, X amount of days to live. And because they believe in the doctor so inherently on all the levels, that they actually live to the day, right? And then you have those who refuse to believe what they're told by the doctors, and they outlive their proposed time limit, right? And this is the power of your mind, the power of your belief, and your openness to possibilities, to potentials. This is part of your initiation. This is part of your learning how to recognize and claim your magic. And what you are capable of goes beyond, right? Just like we can have several people, all of the same ages, right? We can have similar constraints, like all, men that are this age, right? And, then you see the difference. They could all be the exact same age and all be the same gender. And you're going to have a variety of what that age looks like, right? So to look at one person that you decide to compare yourself to and be like, well, they're the same age as me and I'm the same age as them, right? This is why we are on our own paths, on our own journeys of discovery. Okay, let's go to Perthro. Autism hymns. Perthro the snake. Good omen. Fate. The unknown. Initiation and the occult. Okay, and I think that's the biggest fear around getting older. It's the unknown aspects, right? How long will I live? How much will my body transform? Will I need to be taken care of? Will I be able to take care of myself? So many unknowns, right? It's not necessarily the fear of getting older. It is the fear around what that looks like for you, right? So being open and being kind, right? Holding this kindness within and recognizing all the levels, all the perspectives, all the ways love can manifest. There is an underlying joyfulness to this rune, deeply mystical, and deals with the fundamental mysteries of the universe, such as the flow of individual and collective fate. The arrival of Perthro in a reading is a good omen if the outcome is yet unknown. And this is about the openness to hold that as your belief, as your truth. The arrival of Perthro in a reading is a good omen if an outcome is yet unknown. Assume that all outcomes are for your greatest and your highest good. She also, there's more. She also moves about, cosmic and primal law. Okay, living between the known and unknown. There we go. She counts prophecy as her domain, okay? This is about your connection with your third eye and your inner knowing. Cosmic and primal laws unfold before her, and she moves between their patterns, playing out her unique journey with the choices she makes of her own free will, okay? That's one of the most important parts, your free will. You can choose what you put your attention on. You can choose what you focus on. You can choose what you look at when you look in the mirror. You can choose to get one of those crazy mirrors that show you inside of your pores, right? Nobody needs to look that close into their faces unless, you're a dermatologist or some sort of scientist that needs to see cells, okay? Nobody is looking that close. So why should you, right? This is that hyperfixation on the wrong thing. And trust me, being neurodivergent, I hyperfixate on the wrong thing all the time, okay? But I have a recognition that I do this. And so when I notice that I'm hyperfixating on a thing, I check in. Is this the appropriate thing for me to be checking or hyperfixating on in this moment? And what that does is it helps me to recognize when I'm veering, right? Sometimes I'll be, giving an example of a thing, and then I'll give a little context. And then all of a sudden I'll focus on this detail of the context that doesn't really have anything to do with this story. But now I've veered and I've gone off. And so there's something about this recognition, right? And being kind to self when you notice you veered. Don't be like, hey, you idiot, you turned left when you were supposed to turn right. Oh, what a dumbass, right? No, we're not talking like that. That's not kind. Hey, a little more to the right. Oh, right. Oops. Here we go, right? And we're off and we're going and nobody's feeling bad and we're heading back on the right track, right? So learning to be kind as you move towards it. She's looking at this love never ends, right? I'm going to just show you here what I see. So again, it's allowing what love looks like to evolve as you do. Okay, maybe love used to look like, having sex everywhere. Against things, over things, under things, on things, beneath things, for hours, for days. And you're at the age now where just thinking about that, you're like, oh, that's exhausting. That sounds like a lot of work. And I don't even know, I get winded just, walking across the street or whatever, right? So again, there's that comparison. If we're not comparing with other people in our lives or other people that we cross paths with, then we're comparing ourselves to other versions of self that are no longer. Both have nothing to do with you right now, except as a deflection from self, except as a distraction from you right now, from your now, right now. And this goes back to your free will and your ability to choose, right? But it first starts with recognition. You got to recognize when you're currently choosing something that isn't serving the whole and to choose something different. Okay, we got 2 cards coming out, and you won't guess in a million years what they are. Okay, you got 78 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. Okay. We're talking about your emotional regularity, okay? And all the things that contribute to it. When you see something like the happily ever after card, the emotional fulfillment in all levels as a response to your work and upkeep and maintenance of your emotional regularity, of your peaceful nerve system, right? How does that make you feel, right? Are you like, I'm too old for that. I'm too old for happily ever after. I'm too old for fairy tales and romance, to be romanced, to be acknowledged, to be held, to be loved, to be admired, to be engaged with, to be cared for. I can't believe this. I cannot believe these 2 cards came out together. Okay, beautiful. The 9 of Cups and the 10 of Cups. This is the progression. This is the initiation. This is what you're being open to. To love. To love. In all its variations. In all its manifestations. In all its possibilities. But it starts here, right? Again, RuPaul. How you love somebody if you can't even love yourself? Some kid just drove by with the quietest little dirt bike I've ever heard. Did you hear that? I heard nothing. Full dirt bike though. Maybe it was one of those electric bikes that kind of look like a dirt bike. Okay, yes. Don't put yourself in this state, okay? 2244. The 5 of Pentacles. This is that halfway mark between I am worthy or I am not worthy, right? This is what Perthro was talking about. Making decisions, choosing the pathway with your own free will, right? You choose. Just like in this image, the figures are shadow. And so it's hard to tell if they're moving towards or away from the warmth of this sanctuary space, right? This is what it looks like when you choose to go within and you maintain that momentum. This is Pentacles and physical, so I want to say all the physical things that present themselves to you that make you have to choose in that moment whether to be in love or in fear, right? Love never ends. Choose the love, okay? So something about grounding in the old ways of viewing self. There it is again. It's even got the little, it looks like a little dirt bike, but we heard nothing. Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is leaving the old ways behind, the old uncertainties. Should I stay or should I go now? Am I worthy? Am I not worthy? Am I worthy of love? Am I not worthy of love? Am I fearful of the unknown or am I facing the unknown, right? fear everything and run, or face everything and rise, right? And this is an indication that you've chosen the latter, okay? You've chosen to trust in the unknown. We've got the 0 point energy. This is the faith in the unknown, faith in what you cannot see, faith in spirit, faith in your abilities. Going all in for the 10 of Cups here. Beautiful. Okay, we got another 10, a 10 of Wands this time. And it is the end of the overthinking, of the overwhelm, the end of, but also could be the new. I want to say something about ideas coming in, right? But I think this is more about this like consistent thinking. Am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Am I worthy? Am I not worthy? Am I too old? Am I not old enough? Right? I remember like when you're a kid, it's like, I can't wait till I'm older. And then when you're older, it's like, why did I rush being a kid? Right? We're always in this constant state of not being in enough right now, not acknowledging or holding accountable or responsible or being in our now, right? You want something different in the future. If you're looking at your now and there's things that you don't want there, then you have to make different choices right now to create different results. Everything that is in your now is a reflection of every choice you made before now, right? And so this isn't about blame. This is about taking accountability for self and your own free will, and starting to utilize your free will to move you towards love and away from the overthinking. Right? What does the overthinker look like who is trying to jump out of a plane, right, with a parachute? They either don't jump because they're too overwhelmed with the thinking. What if the parachute doesn't open? What if I fall? What if I forget? What if I pass out? What if I, all these things? This kid's just going around in circles. But that's the old way. That's the old way of doing and being and seeing and limiting. You are meant to shine, to be seen as you are in your authenticity, as your gorgeous now self, as your gorgeous now self, in whatever way that looks. The eye of the beholder, it's a real thing, and energetically, right? I had a guy say to me once, how come you're single? You're so pretty. Okay. Almost a direct quote. And it's like, how do you respond to that? But this is the thing. It's like, that's got nothing to do with anything. Okay. Your external Has nothing to do with your internal, except how you perceive. Well, and I guess how others perceive too. Okay, because right away my brain went to, people do judge books by the covers, right? But it's a good way of vetting to find those who can see beyond to the center, to the core. A couple readings ago, I think we were talking about that. Okay, so this Knight of Wands threw itself down. So this is your passionate action to move within. Okay, this is your this transformation here. Right? Transforming, this death of the old way. Should I stay or should I go now? Right? This is you're going. And you're going in hard. You're going in hard, okay? You are going in to shine, to connect to your heart space. This is the transformation process. I think we all start there, or we end up there. Getting there and moving from there is part of, I think, all of the journeys. This worthiness, this relationship that you build with self as you grow, right? As you grow, as you expand, as you evolve. To become one who chooses freedom. It's again like all those times you had to fall down and get up to develop the muscles to run and then eventually to fly, right? What's all this? Whoa. Okay. So devils, anytime adversaries, your dark thoughts, external influences, we also have energetic influences, invisible wavelengths that are whose intention is to knock us off of our faith, of our regulated selves. And when they arrive, right, they can be external, internal, whatever, however they present. But let's say it's this, I'm too old to have a romantic, gorgeous love. Okay, say that's your thing. You see it. You're like, that's not serving me. That's making me feel small and separate, right? Okay, it's adversary. Next step, ground, center, balance, right? Get your sturdy, solid standing in your foundation, right? The King of Pentacles here. So you get your balance with the Four of Pentacles, and then you lock in with the King of Pentacles. And then you arrive at your Four of Wands. Okay, there's your balancing. The 2 4s here coming out. The Four of Wands speaks about union, balance, love, celebration, sturdy stability, fruition, growth, celebration. Okay, all of those things. Okay, and there's something about the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands here. This is that beautiful, because the Queen, she's charismatic, she's passionate, she's a leader. She leads by example, right? Through her authenticity, guided by her intuition with the black cat in the corner here. And all of the sunflower symbolism, right? It's this harnessing of the power of the sun and turning it into something abundant, like a sunflower whose, one seed creates one sunflower that holds hundreds more potentials for more gorgeous sunflowers, right? And then we've got the 2 lions in behind her, marking protection, but also the courage and the conservation of energy, the knowing when to go after something, and like when to rise, right? The courage to rise and take action after a thing, and the courage to discern little game that isn't worth your energy and instead conserve it for bigger stuff that come along the way. Okay, and then we got the King of Pentacles here, this grounded, balanced, sturdy, also taking wishes out of the sky. He's holding a star, right? And this is kind of like it's grounding. The grounded king holding a star, which comes from the sky, right? It's like grounding things into the earth. So there's something beautiful about that. Okay, and this Knight of Wands is moving towards this grounding of your pentacles, this solidifying in your physical. Okay, let's get some extra confirmation from these cards here. I'm just gonna throw some down here and a couple more and a couple more for kicks and giggles. Okay, so the chrysalis, yes, this is a confirmation of the transformation. Okay, also it landing on the Knight of Wands here, this passionate knight. It's time to leave the cocoon, right? It's time to fly, because we do have the Fool here, which is representative of this faith in your own wings. There he goes. Okay. Yes. Beautiful transformation here. Okay, what else we got? We got the patience. Whoa. Okay, and we got the twin flames here as well, and the burning. Okay. We got luck, we got the plethora, we got the emperor, we got divine timing, contemplate, the high priestess. Okay. Okay. So this burning and the twin flames, this is giving me that balance, within the love of self, the love that you give to yourself with your thoughts, with your actions, with your internal dialogue, right? Your thoughts. This is also the balancing of your light and your shadow, and how this contributes to your peace and your balance. Because we've got the 2 fours on either side here, the 4 of Pentacles and the 4 of Wands. Got the High Priestess. Okay, this is tapping into your intuition, this faith in divine timing. And the reason my divine timing thing, the hourglass is full of gold, because hourglasses typically you can look at and see, okay, I got this much time left, right? Or I got this much time to wait, or whatever. But when you're dealing with divine timing, you can't see. It's whenever divine says it's the time. So that's why divine timing is completely full. Because there's no way to know. You just have to have the faith in it, right? This is part of this Fool card. The 0 point energy. The faith in the unknown. And, if that is a hard one for you, then it's faith in the divine and faith in your own ability to navigate, to adapt, to adjust, and to make magic happen. Okay, we got contemplate coming out here too. This is that internal recognition when you are seeing adversaries, when you are responding or reacting or feeling a certain way, that check-in period. How is this contributing to my happily ever after, or my peaceful nervous system, right? Am I feeling empowered, or am I feeling deflated? And what do I need to do now? How can I change my thoughts, my perspective, to re-empower myself? Okay, it's about being the emperor of your own empire. Being able to assess. Is there civil unrest? Right? Maybe we need to throw a party. Maybe we need to, bring in a bunch of food trucks and feed the people. Or, there's, they make the calls for the good of all. And sometimes that requires sacrificing something. Okay, and that brings us to the burn card. This release through transmutation, right? Energy, love never ends. Energy just transforms. So when you burn something, you transform it into, out of its old and into something new, right? This breakdown back to atoms, back to the microcosmos, to be reformed, rebonded into new forms. Okay. Let's see who wants to come out. What? Oh, power deck? Okay. Let's get a power deck card here. Beautiful. Wow. We got the two fish here. There's your balance. There's your masculine and feminine. Okay, courage. A 30. Action takes courage. We often feel like fish out of water, separate and different from the world around us. Fish out of water can learn to swim in a new air of consciousness with a new purpose in life. Perhaps it is identification with objects and clinging to addictions that keep you feeling separate and keeps you from finding the source of your power. Not only dependence on drugs, sex, or alcohol, but also addictions like fear of failure, the need for approval, or fear of desertion. Discover your own power and meaning by having the courage to give up your addictions. Then live your power with courage. Wow. Right? Because we had the whole Queen of Wands with her lions here. Beautiful. Okay, there's also more. It tells you a little bit about the meaning of the painting. The painting is entitled Where Heart and Spirit Travel. It portrays an idea beyond what we usually experience. The two fish swimming out of water through a forest are symbols of the transcendent spirit. They could be your transcendent spirit moving down the path towards the high Himalayas in the distance, towards higher consciousness. It takes courage to walk this path, to go beyond the boundaries of your ideas and imagination. Do not be limited by your belief systems. Courage is a teaching of the North and a teaching of spirit on the path to power. Okay, do not be limited by your belief systems. Let go of excuses. That's what they become, that hold you back, right? Your limiting beliefs. They're limiting you. They're limiting your progress process for yourself. Be open to the revelations and reflections in your now and use them not to judge, but to spring from as a launch pad, as a start point, and use your free will to choose love. I mean, choose whatever you want, right? It's your free will. But love is looking pretty gorgeous. Okay? Just like you. Just like you. Okay. Okay, that is the reading for today. Okay, trust this transformation. You're leaving the overthinking, the doubting, the limiting beliefs, the unworthiness. You are leaving all of that behind, and you are passionately moving forwards towards being grounded, secure, stable, authentic, intuitive, and courageous, balanced, free, and gorgeous. Okay. Yes. Love and appreciate you. And hope to see you next time. Bye for now.